thank you all for joining us today. I'd like to kick us off with introducing my co-host for today's show. Today, we're joined by Miss Angela Thomas. Angela is a technology leader with over 15 years of experience working in data, AI, and enterprise technologies. Angela has spent her career in helping organizations to turn complex data into practical solutions that drive real business results. She's worked across startups, Fortune 500 companies, and regulated industries, leading initiatives in data platforms, AI-ready infrastructure, security, and automation. Angela also holds an executive MBA and certifications in Lean Six Sigma and change management. And she's passionate about using technology to solve problems, improve decision making, and help organizations innovate responsibly with AI. Angela is also committed to mentoring and supporting the next generation of technologists through the NSBE community. So, with that being said, we'd like to have her here to share her experiences and insights. Why don't you all to welcome me in joining Miss Angela Thomas. Angela.
Hi, Rodney.
Hi, Angela. Happy to have you here on today's Tech Talk. Thanks for joining.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yes. I'm excited for today. I'm excited to get into the discussion here with everyone. But before we get into that discussion, I'd like to also give a plug for my loyal and faithful chapter NYC professionals NSBE chapter here in NYC. So we are hosting your first Tech Talk here today. Again, as I've stated, we hope to cover these topics with regards to AI and data and platform strategies, but to be real and transparent, we really just want to also cover, any of these topics and discuss how they may have related to you all as professionals, as engineers, business professionals, technologists, and so forth. Discuss, pros, cons, some wins, some losses, and maybe find a way for us to discuss and share learning opportunities, for how to get through some of the challenges and maybe make pivots throughout your life and throughout your careers. A little bit about, NSBE NYC, where, we're a chapter, the chapter based here in New York. And, we have, over 50 or so paid members here within the organization, and we are looking to grow. So for those of you that are on our call today that have not come to any of our events, please be out on the lookout on IG and social media handles and so forth, and come out and join and check us out. We're a tech organization, an engineering organization, but I think we like to have fun, and we have a great time. I've been a member of this organization for dating myself here, but definitely close to 2 decades now. But who's counting? I am. I'm on the board here as the technical development director, and yes, and that's actually how Angela and I initially, kind of introduced and first met one another, at a engineering and tech event that AWS was hosting over the holidays, and we got to discussing some things, and actually, decided that what, maybe we should bring this live and in person for all the engineering and technology professionals. So, Angela, maybe if you can kind of chime in there and give me your POV on just kind of like how this all came about, and we'll get started.
Yes, just meeting you, and we were networking at the AWS Thanksgiving. That was the Thanksgiving event for different and technology leaders and engineers, and just networking, just looking for new opportunities or the next opportunity. And we were able to start discussing infrastructure and technology and how data. And I shared with you my experience with my previous company and my hopes to actually joining AWS and my experience with utilizing some of those platforms and systems. So, and that was a great opportunity for us to get a chance to know each other, our backgrounds, and just having lunch over time and having that opportunity to be able to discuss further about our careers, how we came about, and that transitioned into discussing this would be a great opportunity to have like a relaxed environment because technology is pretty stuffy. When I discuss technology, I'm a pretty boring person because it's another conversation that no one actually understands, only the team, the engineers, people that are associated. So that is where this came about, is just having a little wind down and having the ability to wind down and discuss technology at the same time.
That is right. That's right. Thanks for reminding me. Speaking of the introductions, something that I guess I feel like in order for you to be an official podcast these days, it's great to to kind of have maybe a toast. So I'd say if any of you all, again, this is a relaxed environment. We've got 90 minutes, so we don't want to bore you all. So we decided to toast to NSBE NYC. And toast to Angela and myself for our inaugural Tech Talk. So feel free to kick back, grab a wine shot if you like, or any adult beverage of choice. And if you all don't mind, we all
What do
will
you
just say toast. And while I'm at it, I guess slight plug here. We've got STEM Reunion 2.0 shot glass here. We do for any of you NSBE professionals that's going to be attending the conference next week. We have our, I believe this is what, the 51st NSBE convention that's going to be in Baltimore next week. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, please do come and join us. So, and then we'll also be hosting, the New York chapter will be hosting our STEM reunion next Saturday. So
Nice.
definitely we hope to see some of you all there live and in person. So to that, we'll say cheers.
Cheers. And how many members are going to be in Baltimore?
Typically, like for the conferences, there's no set number, but you typically have well over about 15,000 professionals that are attending, between 15 to 20,000 professionals at the NSBE conferences each year.
Amazing. That's a great way to be able to bring people together and talk about technology.
Yes, 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 absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, so let's hop right in there. So again, I'm your technology director for NSBE NYC chapter here in New York. I am a technology and transformation leader with over 18 years, 20 years of experience in driving business process improvements and business continuity planning and enterprise transformations across infrastructure, manufacturing, utilities, financial services, and so forth. And I have proven expertise in supporting enterprise platforms, partnering closely with engineering teams and technology teams, as well as operations stakeholders with regards to capital intensive portfolio improvements and modernizing legacy platforms and embedding various enterprise systems and enterprise operating models. I'm an engineer with a background in electrical engineering from Tuskegee University, and again, I bring about close to 20 years of experience, and yeah, I'm happy to serve as your technical development director. So now,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and start with our topic of discussion, Angela, and maybe I'll just kind of like kick the session off to the set off to just kind of ask you about AI and how have you been introduced to AI and how maybe you are using it in your day to day life, personally, whether professionally, and so forth.
What a great way to kick this off. um, One of the things I love about working with technology is seeing how AI can actually help solve complex problems and just make organizations and just a little bit more smarter and just more efficient overall, and how we can partner with AI. In my career, I've actually led and supported big data products, large enterprise data platforms, building multiple systems, just working with large data sets and information from consumers and users. For example, some of the data initiatives that I was supporting was like March Madness and CAA, where there was millions of viewers interacting in streaming platforms. And that data is on an, we were consistently managing that data throughout those tournaments. And some of the challenges that we fought through with, there were some challenges with data. And so my role was to really help with leading programs and connecting with multiple data systems together and teams and analyzing the behavior and the engagement and the performance of real-time data, and helping with different business teams and viewers and optimizing that strategy. And overall, AI was able to help with streamlining different processes throughout different platforms, onboarding processes, onboarding users, libraries. And this is for more of a back end infrastructure technology. So this is more for the business and the business partners and engineers, and optimizing engineers' experience, so their user experience. So that was primarily on a day-to-day basis that I've experienced with technology, with AI, automating and making it more streamlining those technology platforms for the engineering experience. For a personal, there are so many things I can say when it comes to AI. On a day-to-day, the tools, researching, analyzing complex topics, generating different, probably business business plans and business use cases, and understanding, instead of using a platform like Google, you have to do a little bit more research. So AI and ChatGPT has made that process, streamline that process, and at a faster pace. So I will say on a day to day, just utilizing that for researching for the most part. I've seen it where spinning up websites a little bit more faster than what it used to be years ago. Creating a SaaS platform interface will take time, structure, organizing the entire interface. Now you could just use a website, a AI platform, and spin up an entire SaaS website within minutes. Creating coding, supporting your coding, optimizing the coding, streamlining that more for engineers. And I've even seen, I saw an article about ChatGPT. People are dating ChatGPT. So there are so many different things that I've seen lately with AI. It's just been interesting. Also, I've one of a good friend of mine. He's also an AI, and what he's done with the Department of Government, with the government contracts, is working on a app or a system that will partner with GitHub and will be able to provide compliance with their coding and optimizing their processes. So that's one of the a new project that I'm actually reading more into his platform, because it's really interesting, because I understand how the quality of coding that you're inputting into production, and traditionally sometimes there may be gaps and issues or that may not been identified by the user or the actual engineer. So I think that is a really good platform so far. That was a
Wow.
mouthful, so my apologies.
No, no, no. That was great. That was great. I was thinking about the fact that you were able to work on the March Madness project. Like, wow. And I love sports, and I love basketball. Like, and working in data. Is that as fun of a job as it sounds like it is? Like supporting like sporting platforms that supports like live shows like March Madness and so forth.
I will say I do enjoy what I do, but at times it can be overwhelming. Supporting an event that's live streaming, there's millions of people that are going onto a platform, and that data and that information that we're trying to gather, sometimes there are hiccups, and we have to and it's something that we have to address immediately, because we're trying to ensure that we're capturing everything to be able to optimize it and analyze it in a future state, and how to utilize this, for the future years, and how we are going to. This is before AI. This kind of going through that transition when AI was becoming really popular. It was a lot of hands-on experience, so it can be daunting, really
Yes,
stressful. That's just for one platform. That's one platform, one program. So it it's not as easy as it looks.
yes, definitely. I can I can attest to that as well. I guess I'll, from my standpoint, I'll try to answer, a bit of that question as well, as it relates to me and how I've used AI in my own. And I'll give an example from a personal perspective, but outside of like my work life as an engineer and technology professional. I've actually used AI to support me in my own entrepreneurship endeavors. I am the founder and CEO of a library service titled Metro Elite Concierge and Transport, and I just launched. I just became, or we just became live about what maybe 4 weeks ago, and so the site is up. The site is live. MetroEliteExperience.com, and essentially it's a think of Uber Black 2.0 essentially. And so I'll be supporting clients in northern New Jersey and New York, but I'm not here to just plug the business. I really want to talk about how I use AI to build that. But essentially, I actually built it with, and I had a lot of fun doing it. To be very honest with you, I kind of, so to speak, geeked out a little bit on the back end of of the development process, and I was actually having conversations with our producer about this a few weeks ago at an event. How um, I I can't personally say that I've made like a ton of money on it, because I've just been spending so much time working on the website, working on the POS, and so forth. But it's been great. So I have a tool that I use initially called Squarespace to actually build out the website and UI interface for the marketing, from a marketing perspective. Um, so that you guys can go into the site and easily see the services that I'm offering. And then there's a back end Square account that I was able to use to pull in order for me to create the point of sale for my payments platforms for various commutes to LaGuardia or JFK or Newark airports or Teterboro as well too. So I used a combination of Squarespace and Square, and I kind of merged those two different platforms using a similar source of record for the Squarespace account, and or the Square account, and I was able to integrate that into the Squarespace account. And it took a bit of work. It takes work with regards to creating the domain names and getting everything initialized, the landing pages, and making sure that all the points and clicks are operating properly. But you may be wondering, well, where does AI come into this outside of just the site? Well, I did kind of a soft launch for the site a few weeks or so ago, maybe about 5 or 6 weeks or so ago. I did a soft launch to my local friends and family. And then I decided to go into to AI and ChatGPT, and I asked for some questions, some general prompts with regards to hey, looking to start a new company. Do you have any tools that could assist me? And one of the tools that I use was a tool called Lovable. And so, no point intended to the chat dating that you mentioned earlier, but the name Lovable, even though it sounds cute, is actually an amazing platform that you can use which is very similar to ChatGPT, and you type in prompts to initialize like the base code for exactly what you're looking to build. And I actually did a couple of screenshots, and it actually helped me to develop a new and improved website and platform that I was able to pretty much stream like within a week, less than a week. I finally have it up and running. I've got landing pages to my personal LinkedIn account as well as to my own personal website that I also created with the help of of Lovable and these AI tools. And now I feel like well, not feel like, but I am a true real enterprise business, all with the use and with the help of AI. And so you said something earlier about how how challenging the space can be. It's always still a challenge. Don't get me wrong, but I think with the tools that we have at our disposal with ChatGPT, with Claude, with Gemini, all of these various open AI platforms are really making it so streamlined for us to be able to essentially accomplish all of our goals and dreams that we've always kind of wondered and dreamed that we had the background, the education, and so forth. All of that's essentially out there. The information is public information. Of course, you may want to pay for like the more premium versions of those of these tools. But if you are very new, I definitely would still even recommend the free versions as well for these AI open platform models. So yeah, I totally can understand, and I can attest to everything that you were saying. How you can take AI to literally support you in your day to day task. To build a business or to improve on a business concept. And I guess with regards to the professional world as well too, I guess that it's evolving over the years or so. Some companies, I feel like now, most companies are using AI tools. I remember when I was with an enterprise transformation team a couple of years or so ago, and we had our own internal platform. But because we were in the financial services sector, it was very slow moving in terms of fully integrating to AI. But I can imagine now, that team and company, along with companies all across the board now are using various AI platforms or their own internal tools to support the business operations and processes. So yes, I say kudos to everything that you said. I fully agree with, and I can attest to the power of AI and how I've been able to use it in my own personal space. So I guess with that, I'd like to get into maybe another question. Have you ever like used like AI tools to kind of prepare you for like a upcoming job interview or a presentation? Can you tell me a little bit about that process and what that was like for you? Some of the things that you learned, some takeaways from using AI within those your interviewing process. I know this is a tough job market right now and challenging job market, and there might be some viewers out here who may be looking to find a new job or career, or maybe transitioning from a current role or opportunity. So, can you share any experiences that you may have had using AI in that space?
I agree. It has been challenging, especially with the market and the economy. And with AI, of course, you have the opportunity to optimize what you're writing, your details, to kind of streamline your how you're presenting yourself, and to be able to provide more of a concise story that you're trying to convey. So when you're trying to brand yourself, going through my transition, what I've realized is that I had a lot of accomplishments. And I went through a career coach and I kind of dumped all this information on her. And I was overwhelmed myself because I didn't know how to streamline that information. It was so much information because I could, every year I would continue to maintain my all my projects and all the accomplishments, as well as maintaining my yearly goals, my achievements, and just trying to, just keep track of everything and how I can utilize the top initiatives, from our how to present that, right? And how to convey that in a resume where it will align with the position that I'm interested in, right? So the career coach, she was overwhelmed. So I was overwhelmed myself. So this was actually during the time that I was introduced to ChatGPT myself. And this is during the time, I would say, grad school, not year long ago. It was in 2023, the end of grad school. And I was looking to transition out of my position and, just try to elevate and what I'm going to do next. Someone was telling in class, like, "Oh, you guys should try ChatGPT," and I had never heard of it at that time. So I was like, "Okay," just trying to get the feel of it and see how it can work for me. But over time, I've realized it really has a lot to do how you're utilizing it, what type of questions, how concise you are, basically what type of story you're trying to tell. But you have to give ChatGPT exactly what you're looking for. So what I was able to do is dump my information, my resume, my accomplishments, all my projects, and ask, and try to align it to a specific role, between project, programs, product management, across multiple platforms and multiple tech stacks. How do I streamline this information? So it was able to narrow it down, create a resume based on the specific position because
Yes, definitely. I love that. I love that answer, Angela. Like you really help to contextualize, like the significance of like AI and the AI tools. But one thing that you also really touched on in that response is something that I wanted to transition into as well. Is the data pipelines and the significance of data. And I guess that was going to be one of my next questions, and it may be a bit of a rhetorical question. Can AI run without the data, without clean data? And essentially we all know the answer to that. I mean, yeah, it could run, but you're going to get tons of anomalies. You're going to get tons of incorrect answers or hallucinations, so to speak, if you don't have the data clean and flushed out. And so it's really key when you spoke about the importance of your resume and in terms of looking for jobs and job opportunities. You Hopefully, I didn't lose you there, but yeah, but with regards to pursuing new opportunities within the job market, you have to have a resume that's keying in on all the keywords, and so essentially, your resume is your data source of record. Like you can look at a resume as a bunch of paragraphs and bullet points, but what resumes are these days? They're your source of record. That's your data pipeline that's going to tell recruiting managers whether or not you have the experiences or skills or skill sets to assume a future role. So it's really important to look at your resume from that standpoint, not necessarily just as a storyteller for your experience and your background, but making sure that you are having those ATS tracked keywords, because those are your data sources that's going to allow you to get past the review process and put you hopefully on the short list of for the interview process here. All right, great. So you're back. You can hear me good?
yes,
Okay.
great. So this is actually 100% charged. So my apologies.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Yeah. So you didn't miss much. I was just really echoing everything that you were saying, and and just kind of like you were talking about how AI has been, very influential in your, like within your search process and so forth, and also supporting those of us that are pursuing new opportunities, whether it's a new job, a career, or whether it's a promotion at your current job, or maybe vying for that new director, or VP or senior level executive role within your company. So, and I was just saying how the importance of making that a consistent effort at focusing on the data in anything that you are doing, but particularly in your resumes and developing, your resumes and making sure that you're getting all the ATS tracked words and verbiage into your resumes, and also in your LinkedIn profiles as well too, because I was just speaking about how your resume essentially it's like it's like a page within a story within your chapter. It actually could be even the whole book, for some of us. But it's important to realize that it's really your data source of record. That's how I look at my resume. If and I'm not in recruiting or anything like that, but if I were a recruiter, I would probably look at keywords and key phrases, and particularly ROI, and what's the ROI, return on investment, that you were able to bring your companies and your organizations. What did you do to prove that? How are you able to quantify those results? And
Right.
all of those things are essentially tracked within the ATS system. So it's really, really important. You have to have those words. You have to have that data in your resumes. You need to have that data in your LinkedIn profiles. And quite honestly, in your projects, like your week to week projects that you're working on in industry, it's important to focus on the data. I don't care if you've been in data for 30, 40 years, or if you're in a field that you don't feel like data is as much needed. Believe me, it is. I mean, just from my own personal experience, I've worked in about six different industries, everywhere from, like I mentioned before, financial services, aircraft and aviation. I started my career in the electric utility space, manufacturing, and so forth. And even on the ground level, like working in the construction space. I've been out in the rural of nowhere lands, Arkansas, Oklahoma, West Virginia, like working in rural power plants. And believe you me, like I wasn't a data scientist by any means, but you best believe that all of my, managers and my supervisors, they wanted outputs. They wanted to know data. Like when I was managing like INC technology teams and so forth and forth, they would have various like work orders to complete on a project by project basis, and I had to have all of that tracked within a portal, within a jobs portal, within a source of record. So I'm just saying all that to say data is key. Don't let the word, because I think sometimes people, and I say people as in myself and everyone else, like we can allow words to sometimes intimidate us, but at the end of the day, it's just facts. It's just factual information that you have to be sure to be concerted in your efforts at sharing that story. Like as an engineer and as a senior program manager over the years and so forth, I've learned, and even in the in higher level spaces, I've had to learn that the data is needed to tell a story. Like the resume writing, and how you're using those words to kind of like parse through the ATS systems. It's important to know how to tell the story of the data. Don't let the data essentially like overtake you, or consume you, or make you feel intimidated, or that you can't handle it. You've got to be able to learn how to understand that data, and use AI and ChatGPT to help you, like you can take a data set. I love spreadsheets. I'm a spreadsheet nerd and geek. I'll be 100% transparent with you, and try using some prompts within Claude, or Gemini, and so forth, and say, take this screenshot of data and tell me what is the underlying story behind this, and what is the overall output that you're or results that you're looking to convey to your to your users or to your team, and see what comes up. I think as a over the years as a technology professional, that's the key thing that I've had to learn, even in the rooms, in the techiest of tech rooms. I've had to learn how to be able to explain the story behind the data, behind the X's and O's, behind the numbers. So that's just one of the things that I've always had it in the back of my mind. But now in the space that we are in, data is absolutely critical to any and everything that we are doing. And you have to be able to story tell. You have to learn how to tell that data and share, exactly what that means to to not only an expert user, but a novice viewer that's seeing it for the very first time. So that's just kind of like my, kind of my follow up to kind of your points. But thank you for bringing that up. Just the importance of how, having to make sure that the data and AI is integrated, properly. So,